And we're back with some Crusader Kings 3, where we are going to be kicking today's episode off with a momentous occasion. We have a grand wedding on our hands between our son and heir, Helgi, the seer, and his betrothed, Chitska, the eldest daughter of the witch, Baba Yaga. And so this will be interesting. Because, of course, this character is a very powerful witch in her own right, and she'll be joining our court after this takes place. Perhaps more immediately impactful, though, we will be gaining a lot of prestige from this. In my experience, I think a grand wedding nets you about 600 to 800 prestige, roughly. And so we'll likely be into the illustrious tier by the end of this, and that means duchy level conquests for us moving forward. So pretty big deal in that respect. I believe we're also going to get some pretty significant cultural acceptance with the culture of his wife here, the Maria culture. We're currently at 0, so it's probably not going to put a huge dent in this. And I don't think this culture was really of any interest to us anyways. Yeah, so hybridization probably out of the question. Not interested in picking either of these up. But we'll get a little bit nonetheless. So let's go ahead and start with that. And let's get planning. So what are my options here? Looks like the only one with any pluses is Home Guard, our capital, and the fact that it's our capital is the only positive. I guess the longhouses we were building aren't finished yet, but I suppose that can't be helped. We do have 3 years to complete this, so we could wait. Let's actually take a look and see how much longer this has. 3 years left, so we can't wait. We wait out the entire duration of this, and I do not intend to do that. We'll go ahead and just do it now. We'll get a little bit less prestige, I'm sure, but it's not really a concern. We don't have the option to choose this. I don't know why we would anyways, so let's just lock that in. And Home Guard will be our choice. We don't need a Caravan Master. We're not going anywhere. We are right where we need to be. We will focus on recreation, I think. We have a little bit of stress, not too much. But the rest of these I'm not really too worried about. Alliances are easy enough to come by through other means. I don't believe there's going to be any characters present that we would necessarily be concerned about anyways. So these are all our vassals. These are 2 high chieftains, neither of which I'm particularly concerned about allying with. If anything, we might be conquering them in the future, so no point getting tied to them and not being able to declare war later. And yeah, all the rest are our vassals, so really no point in doing that. Not trying to seduce or murder anybody at the moment either, so recreation it is. Of course, we have the 2 betrothed in attendance, as well as it looks like 39 other guests. As far as the activity options, we can reduce these to save a bit of gold. We will still gain prestige, but we decrease the amount. Here, we get an average prestige gain, as well as some vassal opinion for 45. And I'm pretty okay with converting gold to prestige right now, because we're so limited in our ability to declare wars. Getting to that illustrious tier is more important to me than having 300 extra gold in my pocket. So I'll probably keep all of these as is. This one, it looks like, doesn't really affect prestige, but it does affect opinion. We get an average opinion gain with everybody versus a below average, and this would take it to health bonuses as well. I don't want to spend that much though. Let's keep it to a moderate level. And it looks like here, if we stick with the middle option. We gain Gracious Host, which has some nice bonuses for... Doesn't say how long we get to keep this. But I imagine at least probably 10 or 15 years, I would think, which might be the remainder of his lifespan. Rurik's lifespan, that is. So I think we'll be okay with that. And then we could even throw more gold at it to be a magnificent host. But the lifestyle experience gains aren't going to benefit us because we're currently focused on learning. And we don't get any learning from that. So looks like plus 5% versus plus 3%. Yeah, it doesn't really move the needle that much. I think we're okay where we are. So all in all, we're spending about 274. Well, spending exactly 274 gold, which isn't too bad. That's going to leave us at about 400. So we still have plenty to build things if we need to. And hopefully we'll still hit our next prestige threshold. We don't need him open anymore. All right. So let's do this. Oh, right. Our concubine and prisoner is going to accept our terms. So I think she converted over to Satru. And that hopefully would have meant that she likes us a little bit more. But that doesn't appear to be the case. Well, let's see. Maybe I need to... Yeah, okay, so that did go away. Formerly a concubine while serving in monogamous faith. Okay. So that's going to go away at about 1 per year. So it's going to be on there for a while, but we at least halved it. Can't be helped, I suppose. Oh, right. I forgot we were supposed to fight a bear today. The monster of Polotsk. All the preparations complete. I set out with a selected group of guards to face the infamous monster that is terrorizing Polotsk. It doesn't take us long to find it. A clear trail of blood leads us straight to the creature's abode. I was already informed of what to expect, but when the massive bear finally stands in front of me, I can't help but shiver. Okay, so what happens if we face it? The 83% chance we kill it. We gain some prestige and the trait Hunter. There's a 16% chance we fail and are wounded. We lose some prestige. But a 0% chance that we die. Of course, we could die of our wounds later, but we won't immediately die. Or we can take on a bunch of stress and lose a bunch of prestige to back out. I like our chances, though. 83% chance to be successful here. Let's do it. We killed it. Fantastic. So that's 350 prestige toward our goal, which again I think 2,000 is the threshold. I could be wrong. Maybe it's 2,500. Either way, the more the merrier. And we gain the trait Hunter, which is cool. So his prowess is going to go up by 1. It's a pretty healthy 26, all things considered. He is still gout ridden, which isn't helping. But otherwise, a veritable beast of his own in his own right. We're being raided right before the wedding starts. So there's one up here that we'll need to deal with and another down there. That is going to require the majority of our forces, I would wager. So let's move this over to hereabouts, just so we're not attacking across the river. We'll raise our forces. And of course the ceremony is starting now. The spouses, Helgi and Chitska, are both here, looking radiant in their best attire. At my signal, everyone will get into position and the ceremony will begin. All right, let's give the signal. I'm going to move this so I can see what I'm doing. And I need both of you to arrive at roughly the same time. Looks like they're still organizing. Hold on, let's deal with this here. Oh, so we have a good omen. The guests are gathered, the ceremony's about to start, and everything seems in order when something out of the ordinary happens right in front of my eyes. A flock of birds on our left takes flight abruptly when Chitska appears and flies straight over her head to her right. Azrava, who hasn't seen the whole scene going down like me, catches my eye and comments, "That was surprising, wasn't it?" Not sure who this is. Oh, she's one of the sisters. One of the 3 sisters. Okay. What an auspicious sign. Okay, so we lose 32 stress. We don't have any stress to lose, but sure. Okay, back to our little war effort here. Why are you taking so long to get organized? They're already on the move, so this was all for naught. Because... yeah, they're basically already back in their home territory. I think as soon as we can declare a duchy-level war, we're going after Minsk. They've been a real thorn in our side. Or other places, potentially. And I'm just tired of it. Okay. A misstep. I'm enjoying the ceremony, proud of what I managed to organize. Everything has gone well so far, and as soon as I think it, I know I've jinxed it. Wow, the punctuation in this is not great. There's probably at least one missing comma in that sentence. Chitska freezes in confusion, having clearly forgotten what the next step of the ceremony is. We can say it happens. She'll gain 20 opinion of us, and I don't see any reason to choose anything else. Back to our little effort here. This wedding's probably going to be over by the time these clowns get organized. Who's in charge of this army? You, Hakon, you're done, man. I need a different commander because he is taking way too long. All right, so the day has finally come, and I couldn't be prouder of Helgi, the beautiful groom, as the person standing by my side is unwillingly discovered. Look at him. Isn't he radiant? And it's such a good match. Everything is perfect. As I finally turn around, I realize that my neighbor is none other than Chieftain Ingvar. I could take advantage of this moment of connection. So I can say that I'm just so proud, and we'll gain some prestige, we'll lose some stress, and we'll gain 50 renown. That's actually really important because that would put us over the threshold and make us able to choose a perk. Or I can say, aren't you jealous? And we become rivals with our marshal, which doesn't seem like a wise choice. Especially with all the benefits here that are on the table. So let's do that. And we'll very quickly choose a Dynasty Legacy. There's only one clear option to me here, and that's going to be Noble Veins. The ability to increase our chance of inheriting good congenital traits by 30% is too good to pass up. And then, of course, the chance of spawning new good congenital traits is also really nice, but less critical, I would say. We want to just make sure we're inheriting the ones we already have. Another interesting one that we might consider for our second pick in this campaign, though, is Open-Minded Lords. Because of the Witchcraft mod, we have the ability to basically create a court mage position and have them utilize magic in our favor. It also potentially will allow us to capture magical artifacts by imprisoning their owners. So if we find somebody who is in possession of one, we can throw them in the dungeons, take it for ourselves. But for now, Noble Veins it is. We're just founding our dynasty after all, and we want to distinguish it from the rest of the nobility and show off our true royalty. Okay, so we finally... Wait, who the hell lost secret documents? What a clown. What secrets do we have? I don't think we have any. You guys need to start moving here. And if I can, I'm going to move this up. It's going to be hard to fight a war with this wedding going on because this screen takes up so much space. I know I can close it and it'll pop up when the time comes for the next event, but I find that equally jarring. Okay, so they're officially married at this point. Are you able to catch them? I don't think so. The ceremony has finally reached its climax. The traditional rituals have been completed, and all that's left is the final vows, the formal consent, and the seal on the marriage. As both Helgi and Chitska say I do, the crowd starts cheering and we all stand witness to the beginning of their life together. Exciting. With all the formalities behind us, it's now time to celebrate. I signal for the servants to bring out the food and drinks and to shepherd the guests to the feast venue. Let the wedding banquet begin. 75 more prestige for us there. And we got some more raiders, so if we don't catch these guys, we'll at least catch them. It says that we probably will, though. And another thing. Every feast, there's always one. Every single feast. One long-winded, ill-born pissant cornering people who just will not be silent. Yeah, I feel like these are not well written. It's just like an endless string of words, and they'll throw in a comma occasionally, but man, these are rough to read. Maybe I just read too much technical stuff these days, but like, I don't know. Doesn't feel like this feels like the text I would get from a mod, which is fine for a mod because these are, you know, amateur feels like kind of an insult, but obviously modders are not professionals at what they do. Some of them might be, but most of them are doing it out of passion and not necessarily, you know, professional writers or things like that. And that's kind of the level of polish I'm getting from this, which I'm pretty sure this is not from a mod. I'm pretty sure this is, what, like an official DLC, or is it? I don't remember if it's a DLC or vanilla content, but I think it's like the Royal Court DLC that added the Grand Weddings, isn't it? And yeah, it certainly doesn't feel professional quality. Anyways, this time it's Arngrim, and he's completely woefully self-absorbed. Our conversation is rife with hypocrisy, poorly thought out ideas, and just plain idiocy. Yet the man is entirely convinced that he's some kind of fascinating social genius. So we can try to gently exit the conversation, and we might get a diplomacy lifestyle perk if we succeed. But if we fail, he gains 50 opinion of us, so there's kind of really no negative there. Obviously, we'd much rather have the perk, though. You can just tell him to shut up. We'll lose opinion with him, but we will gain snooty. I'm not sure that's a good thing, though. Courtly vassals will like us, but parochial ones will not. You can just say that's very interesting, and there is effectively a 100% chance that we become approachable, which means most vassal types will like us a little bit more, but not courtly ones. Or we can just grin and bear it, and he's going to gain 40 opinion of me, and we'll gain a weak hook on him. Let's roll the dice on this perk. If I could get the perk, that'd be really nice. And we did get it. Fantastic. Let's quickly allocate that. I think I'm going to go for the befriend scheme here. Befriending people is actually really powerful because it removes their ability to join hostile factions against you. So if you have somebody who's got, you know, like a moderate opinion of you and is joining a faction that's getting too powerful, you can try to befriend them and remove them from it and weaken that faction. Of course, it's not going to work on everybody, but again, if they have like a decent opinion of you already, it's a good way to remove them from that. Okay, so it says we should catch that army. This is getting really annoying to do in between the two. So quite the spectacle. Magnificent throng of musicians, tumblers, and actors are providing the evening's entertainment. Thrilling guests all across the hall. Near my seat, both Chieftain Karu and High Chieftain Palamon share their opinions on the display. The correct amount of performers and no more, notes Karu dryly. Good. I can't stand tryhards. To my mind, this is supposed to be a celebration for the ceremony, Palamon opines. So it should have matched its importance and gone all out. Okay. We can't just enjoy it for what it is. I can say I'm so glad you're enjoying it, Karu. And we'll gain 300 intrigue lifestyle experience and some opinion with Karu, who's our spy master. So ideally, you know, we would probably stay on his good side. Or I could say that I had envisioned it differently. We'll gain less lifestyle experience. And more relation with Palamon, who is a neighboring ruler. I don't really care what he thinks of me, to be honest, because his lands will probably eventually be mine. Or just focus on the entertainment, where we'll gain a little bit more prestige. But that's it. I think we need 1,000 experience to gain a perk in Intrigue, so the 300 is not going to go very far unless we have other means of accumulating it. But becoming a friend with my Spy Master might be worth it alone, so I'm going to go ahead and choose that option. Okay, I think we're going to catch them any second here. Speech. Every wedding banquet is host to a frankly interminable number of speeches. Some long, some short, some honest, some deceptive, roiling up and down the hall, punctuating every course of the feast in waves. Yeah, again, I feel like that reads really strangely. I don't know. It almost feels like whoever wrote this English isn't necessarily their first language. As my turn nears, I'm left wondering, should I consider the happy couple or focus on the festivities? After all, it's easy for double meanings to get lost for most in this sea of words. So, I can praise the happy couple as expected. We'll gain 30 opinion with both of them. I can praise the party. I'll gain 150 prestige. But they'll each lose 10 opinion of me. And lastly, I can just say something sweet but perfunctory, and they'll gain 10 opinion of me. Well, why would I ever choose that? I guess if I'm more interested in losing stress, I could choose that. But since I have none, this is the obvious choice, unless, of course, I wanted to gain more prestige. I think I'll get plenty from other parts of this event, though, so taking the smaller bits here and there seem unnecessary. I also need to improve her opinion of me if I can help it. He's obviously maxed out. Okay, I'm going to move this so that we can see what happens in the fight here. Oh good, the one war ended. We did catch them, and it looks like both groups made it into the fight, so that's fantastic. Shimmering, shining. The banquet hall is dressed in a riot of colors, scents, and sights. Only the very rarest fabrics and flowers are absent from the garb. Near my seat, both Chieftain Karu and High Chieftain Palamon share their opinions on the decorations. I don't know how you can't love all of this, chortles Karu. Look at the lengths that we're gone to. Ceremonies are important, and this is still a part of the ceremony, Palamon snorts. It should have been bigger, better, prettier. All of it. Well, I can say that I picked them myself, in which case we'll gain another 300 intrigue lifestyle, so that's nice. We can keep stacking that. And our Spy Master becomes our friend, which is pretty important, I would say. Just like I mentioned with the befriend perk earlier. If somebody's our friend, they can't join factions against us. I don't know if that means that they can't join plots against us either, but definitely factions. Like if we go to factions here, vassals who cannot join factions. Basically anybody who is a friend, lover, prisoner, or ally. You can also make them terrified of you or have a strong hook on them to prevent it. But friends cannot join factions. They might be able to join schemes, though. I would have to look into that. In any case, that 300 intrigue looks pretty nice to me, so I'm going to take it. Plus, this guy's being their dick. All right, going to move this out of the way again so we can keep tabs on our battle. Can't get away. As the wedding host, I know I shouldn't... As the wedding host, I know I should be spending time with the couple and their families, but I just can't tear myself away from my new friend, Karu. I can see Chitsuka starting to glare at me, but every time I try to excuse myself, Karu has me howling with laughter all over again. So, we can have him become our best friend, but then the daughter-in-law loses 30 opinion of us. We can invite her to join us. Unfortunately, there's a 68% chance that that doesn't go well. We can try to sneak out so we can talk properly. We gain the trait Confider. But then the daughter-in-law grows closer to forming a rivalry with us, and then finally I can excuse myself from my conversation with Karu, but all we do is gain stress from that. Wow, there's really no good option here. Like, even this one, there's 32% chance it goes well and a 68% chance it doesn't. I'll probably just eat the stress then. I would gain the same amount of stress here and risk having them become rivals, which isn't ideal because then either my spy master is plotting against my daughter-in-law or my daughter-in-law is plotting against my spy master. I prefer she not get killed because I want her traits passed down to our grandchildren. And he's more expendable, but he is now my friend and spy master, so I'd prefer he not die so soon anyways. So I think this is the option. All those opportunities to lose stress, and then we had to gain a bunch. What a shame. And it looks like we're going to gain more. Heavenly Delights. What a vast and endless array of foods and desserts this is. Are these the kinds of meals I can expect in Valhalla? Oh, and what an expansive selection of sweets. This must be the most food I've ever seen in one place. Why? Why don't I have an option here? I just have to be a glutton? I'm pretty sure I don't have a gluttonous trait. Strange. Okay. The wedding night starts. I can see that all the guests are satisfied and pretty tired, but the day of celebration is not quite over yet. I quickly organize a festive procession to lead the newlyweds to their bedchamber. Let's let the newlyweds celebrate privately. For us who remain, let's pour another drink. So this is kind of important because I noticed between episodes that Helgi is homosexual. So there's not going to be a ton of opportunity for him to have children. As far as I understand it, this doesn't limit his ability to have children entirely. It just significantly reduces the likelihood of it. And so going through with this, I think will guarantee that they lay together at least once. Whether they ever do it again, we will certainly see. But hopefully this results in at least one child, and then we'll have the lineage established. The rest is irrelevant. Okay, so it's time. We won that battle. I'm going to grab my army here, merge them, and we need to go after the Lithuanians here. I'm probably going to put myself in in a raiding stance because we're going to cross over into their territory soon enough. So let's go to there, and then obviously we'll adjust as needed. I'll probably hit their capital if they disband before I can get there. And after that, we'll break off and probably raid their Minsk's capital down here. Minsk's right. One more goblet. After the spouses leave for their private chambers, the celebrations drag on and on through the night, only slowly losing in intensity and rambunctiousness. One after the other, most of the guests either leave, fall asleep, or retire to enjoy the pleasures of the night themselves. Most guests, but not me. Well, you are the host, so you probably shouldn't leave. Bring me another cup, and another more. I bellow at whatever servant I see. After all, I've paid for everything. Don't I deserve it? From his table, however, I can feel Arngrim's judging stare on me. Haven't you drunk enough for today? He inquires coldly. I can say, stop grumbling and join me. There's a 37% chance we become closer to becoming friends. but a 62% chance that he just disapproves. Or I can tone it down, and he'll gain some opinion of me. Well, do I still need to burn the stress? Because we did accumulate some. Yeah, in that case, I'll take the risk. I don't mind if he likes me a little bit less since he's already at 100, possibly over 100. Bleeding off a little bit of that stress is more important. And yeah, whatever. He's still at 93. Oh, we're being raided again? This is getting ridiculous. I'm going to close this for a sec. Well, actually, no, I can't. Let's deal with this first, and I'll figure out where the raid's coming from. With the newlyweds retired for the evening, the braziers are lit, the flagons filled, and musicians rallied for festivities long into the night. Hours later, I find myself looking hazily down my goblet at Azrava, sister of the bride, who has just almost choked on her mead and mirth. She slurs, You know, I wasn't sure about you, Rurikid sort, but you're all right. So, let me see. Can call for more ale. We gain the trait Eager Reveler. Lose a bit more stress. Gains prestige. That's not a bad choice. Or we can come on to her. There's a 93% chance she recoils. I think I want the prestige and the stress loss. Oh, this is interesting, though. Why is she beat up? She wasn't beat up earlier. She's been partying a lot harder than we have, apparently. But anyways, with this first one, we are guaranteed to increase our intrigue by 1. And then basically roll the dice to see what other skill we increase by 1. But still, we're guaranteed to increase something by 1. But the prestige and the stress loss here is tempting. Eager Reveler is also decent, I think. Yeah, so we still get the +1 intrigue. We just don't get the other +1. I think that's going to be the choice. There's only a 1% chance we become a drunkard, so I'm not worried about it. Into the night. The newlyweds have taken their leave, consigned by the families to the bedchambers to consummate their union. The rest of us return to the banquet hall to make merry and celebrate. Despite having been introduced to so many new faces today, I'm raring to meet more of the guests before this social opportunity inevitably ends. The rest of the evening is mine to spend how I wish. I can say I've been meaning to talk to Ingrid, and we become closer to forming a friendship with her. Also, lose a little bit more stress, which I think we could use. I don't think we're quite rid of all of it yet. Or we could say that our presence here today must not be overshadowed, which we gain prestige and lose stress. That's a decent option. What is this one? We carry her away from the party, I guess. I don't know. That seems a little sus, but doesn't seem like the outcome suggests anything suspicious. Or we can just go to the temple. No, I want some more prestige and some stress loss. What the hell? The bride is all scratched up too. What was going on during this wedding where everybody got bloodied? Okay, the conclusion, finally. When finally the last guest leaves, I look around at the deserted venue, the food leftovers, the spilled spice wine on the floor, the echoes of people's laughter still lingering in the air, and feel satisfied. What an amazing day. I did a very fine job organizing it. Thank you all for coming. So we did gain 800 prestige, in fact, and we're at 2,500. I think our bodyguard just died from his internal injuries. How exactly did he accumulate those? He was maimed? What the hell happened? Weird. I think somebody used this as an opportunity to assassinate him. Well, let's go ahead and finish this. And I don't see where the Lithuanians went, so let's cut west and raid their capital. Oh, and they're going to duke it out with each other. Marshal earns respect. Okay, fair enough. This isn't quite done yet. I'm trying to keep an eye on that, though. Weapon. That's pretty awesome. 91 gold to forge me a weapon. Do it. I really don't like the way that they've set this up, because the first option is 50-50 sword or dagger, and I would really, really like the ability to choose between them. I don't understand why there could not have just been one additional field here, because, well, I guess some of these other ones, like that one's a 1 in 3 for an axe, hammer, or mace. But, like, does the spear really need its own? I would prefer a sword or an axe. So, I guess it makes the most sense to go for the sword, because that has the highest chance of actually coming out. A dagger is not my preference, though, and an axe and a hammer. The hammer maybe, because we're Norse, Thor, hammer, you know, but ideally the axe or the sword. Let's roll for the sword, I guess. If it's a dagger, I'll probably just break it down for the gold or something. A vassal to remember. Chieftain Kiro and Chieftain Vladislav are among the most powerful vassals of my realm. I never know how to keep them happy so they don't go around stirring up trouble. Perhaps flattery is the way to go. Anyone would be pleased to have something made in their name, wouldn't they? And I have just the right thing in the making. I should let my champion, Sadiq, know that I am dedicating his masterpiece to my trustworthy vassals and advisors. Then again, it is my artifact, so maybe I should just... No, I'm not going to dedicate it to them. To myself, or take the piety. I don't want to dedicate it to anybody. Dedicate it to the gods. Give me the piety. Our champion was maimed by an enemy soldier. That's really unfortunate. And another one was maimed by... Why are we getting maimed so frequently? We had overwhelming numbers and troop quality there. Or maybe not troop quality, it was even in that regard, but still. There's no reason why we should have had two champions get maimed in that fight. So now my other bodyguard is maimed, which makes it the second bodyguard that's been maimed. Luckily, he was so good that it didn't affect him very much. But we should probably invite some champions. It's going to cost me a bit of prestige, but that's okay because we're short 3 now. And there's probably some that have no business being champions regardless. Like, he's a champion now, even though he's only 7. I mean, he's a decent character, but not a very good combatant. And then you probably shouldn't be a champion. Spy Master, also not ideal. I mean, in terms of skill, he's fine. I just don't want my Spy Master dying in battle. Can't really be helped right now, though. Worthy of the ocean. Longships are, in many ways, the heart of a king's power. Without access to the sea, what are we but trapped wolves, unable to hunt or roam? It's with no small amount of alarm, then, that my latest inspection of our stored boats shows many are beginning to molder and perish. Their carefully clinked hulls in danger of coming apart once returned to the water. So we can pay 15 gold to repair them. We can pay 50 to get excellent longships for 10 years. Or let them rot. I'll pay the 15. Just keep them as is. Got our first champion arriving. Magnus, you say. 29 prowess berserker. Sweet. How much to recruit him? 30 gold. That's not bad. It's like 1 gold per prowess. I'll take it. Let's find you a spouse. Ideally, somebody with a trait. Preferably something better than hail. But, okay, hail will have to do. My vassal, Chieftain Vladislav, accosts me. Well met, liege. I've heard tell of your patronage of Sadiq the weaponsmith. They say he's forging a dagger worthy of it. God damn it, a dagger. It's always a dagger. That roll is not 50-50. I've never once gotten a sword from that roll. Please take this and give it to him. I wouldn't want to miss the chance to aid in the creation of a masterpiece. Poor Vladislav must have more money than he knows what to do with. Okay, sure, why not? Does he have more money than he knows what to do with? He does have a pretty respectable amount. Okay, so we finished our raid in Minsk, and apparently we took their primary heir. So let's see about a ransom, perhaps. 100 gold, I'll take it. And that's, I mean, he's still got a little bit left, but that was a good chunk of his gold. So I think it's time to return home, now that we've gotten our revenge. Ooh, a new perk. Let's grab that. I'm going to go profit here, because I would like to convert us in Rurik's lifetime. And so the more... is she dying, or she's just sick? The more we can do to remove barriers in that regard, the better, I think. We should probably appoint a new... what do you call it? A new wet nurse. We're also down a bodyguard as well. I'll go with Knut, I guess. He's pretty decent, and he is compassionate. Though greedy, not ideal. Wrathful, not ideal, but whatever. Okay, so it looks like this new marriage has already borne fruit. We have twin daughters, or granddaughters, I guess. And we have to choose names for them. So Gita and Kraka. Kraka? I almost certainly am saying that wrong both ways, so I'm probably going to go for a different name there. Botild, Thordis, Holmfrid, Skuld. Give me like... Can we get like an Astrid maybe? But with all the special characters, so it looks legit. Okay, there we go. Ingrid and Astrid. Two twin daughters of Helgi the Seer and Chitska the Witch. May they grow strong and wise. Okay, so the elder of the two, I guess, technically, I mean, she's first in line here, but they're born at the same time. So anyways, she's quick, comely, and has Yaga's blood. Fantastic. Love that. And then Astrid, the quote-unquote younger of the two, didn't get the quick trait, unfortunately, but she is pretty, and also Yaga's blood. So 2 out of 2. Love to see it. We'll probably focus... Does this give her... This gives her an inclination toward diplomacy. But I don't really like diplomacy as a focus, if I'm being honest. I'm going to go stewardship, I think. I'm just trying to envision a role for her. Obviously, we don't want to marry her off to some distant land because we want to keep the Yaga's blood circulating in our court. And so, obviously, we're not trying to create a bunch of inbreeding here, but if we can marry her off to somebody in our court now, keep it within the Rurikid Dynasty, and then eventually maybe like second or third cousins can meet back up down the line type of thing. So Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to go stewardship. Stop thinking about it. Just pull the trigger. And then for Ingrid, right now she's technically in line to inherit the throne. If Helgi has no other children, she is the heir. It's not going to show it because technically he's the heir right now. But obviously the title would pass from Rurik to Helgi, from Helgi to Ingrid. So I think I may go learning or I may go leadership. I think I'm going to go learning. Yeah. Highest quality. My lord, look at that metal. I've never seen such fine quality before. My champion Sadiq breaks away from our market procession to accost the merchant selling the coveted item, ecstatic over his find. With this, my project would reach new heights. I could create something truly marvelous. Please, my king, bestow this gift upon me. 50 gold to increase the quality. If it were a sword, I'd be more inclined to say yes, but I kind of don't care about this stupid dagger. Or I can just be a tyrant and take it. I have the gold. But I really don't care for a dagger. Whatever. I mean, I guess it's the stats that matter. I'm not going to be looking at it in my inventory, so whether it's a sword or a dagger is kind of irrelevant in the end, but still disappointed. There's our raid loot delivered, and we have a new champion as well. Kalev. He's an Estonian. And one of the few non-berserkers to join us. How much is it going to cost to recruit him? 11? Yeah, sure, why not? We'll find him a spouse as well. Don't think we're going to find anybody else with... Yeah, nobody with hail or anything to that extent. So, quick, maybe? Sure, why not? With my leave, my daughter Astrid and her wet nurse parade into my chamber. Ingjerd, I think that's Ingjerd, poses like a herald and proclaims, "My liege, you witness a monumental occasion. Astrid has a mighty gift to offer you." She nudges her forward. "Go ahead, Astrid, tell him." "Father, I lost a tooth." My daughter proudly... Wait, your daughter? Oh, I forgot that this girl's name was Astrid. Well, I might need to rename one of them. This is going to get confusing. Okay, well... Why do I gain stress for being ambitious? What does my ambition have to do with this child's tooth? This is ridiculous. But apparently giving her gold for the tooth is going to relieve me of stress. I don't have any stress right now. I'll give her the gold. I don't want the stress. So 10 gold, small price to pay to avoid it. What does the tooth do? Very tiny amount of prestige gain and child opinion plus 10. Okay. How much do we get for breaking it? 40 gold? Well, I think it's worth it in the long run. Man, the Tooth Fairy really pays in this world. So any minute now, we're going to complete our promote culture here. There it is. Oh, our inspiration's been realized. King Rurik's dagger, plus 6 prowess, plus 7 to personal scheme power, and plus 7% to personal scheme success chance. Again, dagger, not my favorite. I think the type of weapon does affect the bonuses you get too. In my experience, daggers always have scheme related things in addition to prowess. And so if that's true, it's yet another reason why I don't like daggers. But whatever, we'll take it. The prowess is nice enough. And while I'm not doing a lot of scheming, I suppose it could come in handy now and then. Maybe it'll help me learn this language. Is it inscribed in Eastern Slavic or something? Okay, we were watching this. There it is. Task finished. So Home Guard is now Norse, and that means we can't do it right now because this longhouse is still building. But whenever it's done, we can convert this sparring ground over to a trade port and start making some money, as well as increasing our development a little bit faster. So we'll have to wait on that. Something I will do is, yeah, there's 2 slots here. I'm going to start building a war camp in one of those slots just because the bonuses from the war camp are nice, and I'd like to keep them on some of our more important units. But obviously we're going to lose it here in the capital, so we can move the unit over to Tikvin and have them stationed there. Let's jump back to our council, and I think so. What I probably should have done in the long run is this got as high as 16% thanks to that court decision. I wasn't expecting that, and so I was going for the long play. Maybe is it the long play or would it be the short play? I was having him convert individual provinces to Norse because I thought we would get through, 2 or 3 of them before we managed to hybridize. But given how close we are to 20 right now, I think the better decision is to promote cultural acceptance in Rusa. And we'll see if that gets us where we want to be a little bit faster. So the yearly gain is just under 1. In theory, 4 or 5 years, and we can hybridize. That's assuming there are no wars between Russian and Norse in the meantime. We're also probably overdue to reorganize our men-at-arms. We're really missing out by not having Huskarls. They gain bonuses in Taiga and Forest, +8 in either case, so the damage is actually 50 here. Then, of course, if we're attacking during winter, they're tougher and gain screen as well. So these guys are pretty much the ideal troops for us in this environment. Varangian veterans are also really good, but they don't gain any benefits from forest. So if we're talking farmlands, plains, hills, they're the better call. But in this particular environment, Huskarls get the edge. They're cheaper and they'll do more damage. They are obviously a little bit less tanky. And I'm not sure whether having screen or pursuit is preferable. I would imagine screen is preferable because screen is going to factor into every battle. Pursuit obviously only matters if you win, though hopefully we would always be winning. So I'm not sure how much that plays to their advantage over the Varangian veterans, but obviously just given the terrain effects, we should go this route anyways. So I think what I might do is I'm going to reorganize these a little bit. I might have to cheat just because I want them in a particular order. I like having my most elite men-at-arms in the top left, and then they get progressively more specialized as we go down. Okay, so that's all sorted out. We have 2 units of Huskarls now. Or I guess let's just call it 200. Still 400 of Vigman and 100 Bondi. And I've, stationed them all in whichever ones are going to give them the highest bonuses, starting with the Huskarls being the highest priority, so obviously Home Guard is going to give them another +20. And then Rusa was the next best, and then Nyan was third for the Bondi. Now it says we're at -0.8. I don't know if that is accurate. Let's roll the clock a little bit and see if that changes. So interestingly, the Kingdom of Finland was just formed. I watched the heraldry change right in front of me. And it was formed by King Tur of Finland, of the Karelanian. Oh, jeez. I'm not even going to try again. Anyways, yeah, Kingdom of Finland. Cool. So we have Kingdom of Finland, Kingdom of Sweden. Don't think Norway's gotten their act together quite yet. But, I think these guys might be close. Maybe not. Let's see. How many provinces are required for that? They would need 16. I don't think anybody... Yeah. Okay. This is our final of the 3 champions that we were able to recruit. So 16 right now, but that will increase to 18 when his wounds heal. How much is it going to cost us to bring him in? 20. Seems a bit steep considering some of the other guys were a lot less than that. Ooh, what do we have here? Mystic knowledge. I've come across a book describing how ancient devotees used trances and visions of ecstasy to commune with Asgard. It seems a strange practice in our modern age, but perhaps there's something to be learned from them. So we can either test these practices ourselves or attempt to learn more about the practices through books. I think let's try them ourselves. I wonder what would happen if I imitate their practices. Hopefully this doesn't kill us. Locked in a room, strange powders on a burning fire provided overpowering heat. Smoke and smells as I tried to feel the things that lie beyond the world of senses. I do not know how much time passed before strange, indecipherable visions of light and pulsing sound came to me. Was it my imagination or a glimpse of the divine? Is there even any way to tell? I can try again, or I can just take the lifestyle experience. Let's try again. Let's see where this goes. Aha, okay. As I experiment more and more, I get a clearer and clearer grasp on things. It's as if I can now summon the presence I feel when I start my little ritual. It offers stability and comfort as the chaos of the world swirls around me. So I can become a wise man, or I can lose some stress and gain introspective rest for 5 years. I think I'd rather be a wise man, if I'm being honest. What does that do for us exactly again? +1 learning. Also some monthly magical lifestyle experience. I'm probably not going to delve into that with Rurikid here, but the learning is interesting for sure. And I think that unlocks some additional decisions for us too. So let's take it. And Olvir died. So both my bodyguards were maimed to death. Such a shame. Well, he had 2 children at least. The other guy didn't have any children. Okay, one of them inherited Hale at least. So we have a little bodyguard in the making here potentially. Gorm and Nupa. That's how I'm going to pronounce it anyways. Friendly exchanges. Okay. With a infant. Sure, why not? What's this new artifact? Wild stag skull. When did we get that? So I can put it in either of those spots or over here. Let's put it over here. It looks so ridiculously small. That's my one complaint about some of these wall decorations is like sometimes they're comically tiny. Could at least put that on a bigger plaque or something so it takes up a little bit more space. And then also it sits way too close to the ceiling as well. Like, look at all this real estate you got. Fill it. Or let me put another banner there or something. Be very excited if we get more mods that let you kind of customize this a bit more, because right now it's cool, but it's a bit limited. And yet another daughter to Helgi and Chitska. This time her name is Ursa. Let's keep rolling on that one. Holmfrid. I kind of liked Gita before. See if I can maybe get it again. Girder. Or is that just Gerd? I never know if that second R is meant to be pronounced or not. How about Sigrid? That kind of fits. So we have Ingrid, Astrid, and Sigrid. Yeah, may she grow strong and wise. And this time, I think she matched the eldest, right? I mean, besides being a twin, yeah. So Quick, Comely, and Yaga's blood. Cool. I'm not sure what to specialize her in. Looks like she's a little bit inclined toward diplomacy. But again, I really don't like diplomacy. So I think we'll end it there. It's been a little bit of a slow episode, but I think very important things happening. Obviously, the wedding was a big deal. Being able to finally start building commercial buildings in Home Guard is a big deal. Looks like this is going to finish like literally any second here. In fact, if I roll this, is it going to happen? 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh, we have an event. Astrid's first enrobing. As I patiently await the fetching of my clothes, a servant stutters. My lord, no one can find your garments. Surrounded by incompetence, I mutter, storming from my bedchamber. It's in the nursery of my daughter, Astrid, that I discover not only my raiments, but also the girl's wet nurse. I had no part in it, my liege. She dressed herself. Ingjerd responds with a giggle. So she can become the princess of fashion. Again, I don't want the stress. I don't know why being ambitious would cause stress here. This is ridiculous. It's a child wearing your robe. Well, okay, she's the princess of fashion then. Longhouses have been constructed. Fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and convert this over to the trade port now. So that's going to take, I said 2 years? Yep, 2 years on that. And what do we have over here on this one? Another 4. Ooh, that's rough. Okay. So primary goal right now is to keep up with the cultural acceptance so that we can finally hybridize. It's a big deal. I don't know if we've made any progress passively over here with like the Lithuanians, for example. It's still at 10. Latgalia is still at 3. Estonia's at 9. Estonia doesn't have anything I want though. It's really these two that are the primary ones. And no major movement on that. So I think we'll continue focusing on this one since it's at 17. Aside from that, we'll try to continue to expand our borders slowly. I think the east is going to provide more opportunity for us for the time being. Otherwise, maybe the Estonians, but we have to be very careful about moving south. Much as I would love to eliminate Minsk and the constant raiding threat that they pose, because they are Russian, we would set back our cultural acceptance noticeably if we did that. So that leaves the Vepsians and the Muria to our east, as well as the Meshchura? Meshchura? Sure. That would be an interesting one. I think that culture only occupies that duchy. And apparently they just have their own culture, I guess, because the entire dynasty is, or the entire culture is just that dynasty. I don't know. It's kind of interesting in any case. They don't have anything that we want to adopt, so not too worried about it. But we don't have to worry about upsetting that culture then either, so kind of works out. I'm a little bit reluctant to push our border up against the Khazar, though. And that's where we'll leave it. So thank you all so much for watching. I had a great time playing some Crusader Kings 3 with you, as always. Looking forward to seeing you back here for the next one. And thanks. Wow, I completely just flubbed that outro. So we'll leave it there for today. Thank you so much for watching. I had a great time playing some Crusader Kings 3 with you, and I look forward to seeing you back here for the next one.